President Trump says Tehran, facing the threat of American intervention to stop the bloodshed, is reaching out to the U.S. about proposed negotiations. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says the Justice Department has served the central bank with subpoenas and threatens it with a criminal indictment over his Senate testimony 7 months ago about the Fed's building renovations. And ExxonMobil may not be among the U.S. oil companies brought in to help revitalize Venezuela's energy infrastructure. On Wall Street, Dow futures down 336. More details, srnnews.com.
What if 2026 could be the best year ever for your retirement? It can when you take control of your financial future with physical precious metals. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741-GOLD now to get your free gold and silver rollover kit, a $49 value just for calling. More Americans than ever are discovering the power of rolling over a portion of their IRA or 401k into physical gold and silver. With a simple, tax and penalty-free rollover, you can add stability, security, and strength to your retirement. In times of inflation, uncertainty, or market swings, gold has been a steady, tangible, proven store of value. And in 2026, it could be the key to building the retirement you've always imagined. That's why so many people trust Advantage Gold, the #1 rated gold IRA company in America for 10 years running. Call 800-741-GOLD to get your free gold rollover kit. Call 800-741-GOLD. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-741-4653 now. That's 800-741-GOLD.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
With NWKS Radio News, I'm Connor Schuh. Kansas hospitals have been seeing an uptick in flu cases recently with a new strain coming up to the surface. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention says Kansas is one of several states seeing very high flu activity recently. Dr. Dana Hawkinson, the medical director of infection prevention and control with the University of Kansas Health System, said a new strain and lower vaccination rates are causing a surge in patients. While the new flu strain is less responsive to the flu vaccine, Hawkinson said the shot reduced
this team has great
by 50% still. She also suggested consistent hand washing, wearing a mask when sick, and staying home as other ways to stay flu or virus free. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment says the state has had a moderate level of flu cases, with 5% of ER hospital visits in the state being for the flu. For these and other stories, go to nwksradio.net.
Warm and mild conditions again today. Skies will be sunny with highs in the mid-60s. Winds will be from a west-northwest direction of 5 to 15 miles per hour, and lows will be in the upper 20s and low 30s. Tomorrow will be breezy with northwesterly flow over the ridge that will result in another day in the 60s. Under mostly sunny skies and northwest winds at 15 to 25 miles per hour. An active weather returns Wednesday through Friday with multiple cold fronts. The first cold front Tuesday night, followed by high pressure on Wednesday, will drop highs to 40 to 45 with north winds gusting 25 to 35 miles per hour. Overnight lows under clear skies will drop into the low 20s. Thursday, a second trough and cold front will move through with temperatures around 50, winds gusting 20 to 40 miles per hour, and lows falling to around 20. Friday is cold and windy with some light snow with flurries, highs in the 30s. This meteorologist Chris Schromick of the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
It's well known that Western Sprinklers in Colby, your local Valley dealer, is the Tri-State's leader in irrigation and pump service. Western Sprinklers have built their reputation on service throughout the years, and it's the main reason customers keep coming back. For the highest quality of service and irrigation equipment, be sure to call Western Sprinklers in Colby. While others talk, they deliver. Because at Western Sprinklers, irrigation isn't a sideline, it's their specialty.
Convenience just got an upgrade. Farmers State Bank of Oakley is excited to announce the opening of our brand new ATM along Highway 40, right next to Sonic Drive-In. Whether you're grabbing a snack or on the go, you can quickly access your cash without the detour. It's banking made easy, right where you need it. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The insurance agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pestaway in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pestaway today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
They're basically idiots.
Covering it all from the preps.
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon, the crossover back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
To the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bold loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the insurance agency, Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, and the Farmer State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work.
Snap to Moore, he'll throw, 3-step drop, fires to the left, picked off at the 20-yard line, and return for a touchdown by D'Angelo Pons. On the first play from scrimmage, a pick six for Indiana. 11 seconds into the game. It is 6-0 Hoosiers.
Hands off to DP at midcourt. Darren down the left side. Leans it to a three. He knocked it down. As the musket fires, so too does Kansas.
He'll line it up. He'll sneak it. He gets a push. And the push continues inside the 5. Allen all the way down to the goal line. It's a touchdown. No. It's a quarterback sneak. And Gilliam just pushed him all the way in to give Buffalo the lead.
Shotgun. Purdy takes the snap, looking. Purdy steps up. Purdy delivers. End zone. Caught. Touchdown. McCaffrey. 49ers go in front.
Good Monday morning. We are back here on the Morning Blitz on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, NWKSradio.net, and of course the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Connor and Ross, glad to be back with you after it was an interesting weekend to say the least. Whether it was sports or just anything else. I mean, the weekend did not go according to plan. I mean, Friday was expected to do basketball, didn't happen. Saturday was expected to do basketball myself, didn't happen. Connor had games moved up an hour. I mean, you talk about you had to be on your toes this weekend with things shuffling down there. So, but we are here. We are through the weekend, and we got a full show ahead for you here today on this Monday, January the 12th, where we expect it to be once again another spring-like day here in winter 2026. Temperatures expected to be in the mid-60s today. That's right. Temperatures around 64. That'll continue through tomorrow, and then we'll see a bit of a cool down Wednesday, back up into the upper 50s Thursday before a much cooler temperatures coming, it looks like, on Friday and Saturday. Temperatures down around the 40. If there is one thing to get prepared for this week, it is not precipitation, but it is wind. It looks like as if we will see some blustery conditions outside here starting tomorrow with a lot of wind coming here through the rest of the week. But cooler temperatures will continue here throughout our listening area. How was the weekend, Connor Schuh?
It was pretty good. I, of course, also got a game postponed. Colby and Goodland both got nixed on Friday, and you had it rough because you were expecting to be getting it going on Saturday in Goodland, but you had to take all your stuff down at the last minute. So
I just figured I kind of went there and I set some stuff up because I always like to kind of be set up early so I don't have to be in such a rush when I get there. And then I learned that we weren't going to do the games, and I was like, well, I guess I better go clean that up for Connor so he has more room.
And
so that's what I did.
There you go. And it's appreciated. I did call those 2 Tech Tiger games on Saturday, both against Colby. So it was cool to be able to do the little up and down I-70 game, or Battle of I-70, you could call it. Maybe, I don't know if there's an official name for it.
I don't think there's really a rivalry game. I would kind of like it say to be an I-70 type game or a Highway 24 matchup or something.
Yeah,
like that.
We can get a term down, but Colby dominated that first game, but Tech in the men's game, they flexed their muscles, so it was a bit of back and forth. So fun stuff.
Came back late in there. Not late, came back in the second half.
They did. They were down by 14 at one point with I think 10 minutes to go, and then they just went on a huge run and managed to get the win in that one.
Yeah.
Fun game.
Yeah, fun game. Fun weekend. We'll talk all about it here with our weekend winners and losers coming up here in just a few moments. Of course, Nick Athen will stop by the program as well from Chiefs Blitz. We'll talk about the NFL playoffs that happened this past weekend. Some interesting games yesterday. One of them went about exactly how I thought they would. There was a really exciting one Saturday night. Actually, there were a couple of really exciting games. I mean, there was one Sunday afternoon and one Saturday night that were very, very entertaining football games in the NFL. So we'll get to that in more depth with him, and whatever we missed, we'll try to get cleaned up in the leftovers. If you want to be part of the Morning Blitz, would love to hear from you on our text line, 785-899-2222. If you'd like to be part of the Morning Blitz, would love to hear from you. We'll have a chance to enter in for a win. We'll be doing a giveaway later on this month. We will be giving away a pair of tickets to a wonderful evening at Traditions Restaurant in Goodland. And it's for Valentine's Day night. So if you and your significant other would like to attend there, what's going to be kind of a dinner and music type of deal, a dinner and dance type deal they're going to be having at Traditions Restaurant at Freedom Hall. We have a chance to enter in for that coming up here throughout this week and the next couple of weeks. And then we'll draw out a winner out of all the people that enter in at the end of the month. And so they'll have a couple of weeks to get prepared, get babysitters if they need to. And then, we'll be ready to roll into February. So anyway, we'll be doing that here coming up throughout the next week. So keep your radios dialed in to the Morning Blitz, and we'll be doing that throughout the program. So anyway, let's get this show cracking with our weekend winners and losers.
There are 2 kinds of people in this world.
There's winners and there's losers.
Which ones were which this past weekend?
I want winners.
Loser! You're a loser!
It's the weekend's winners and losers on the Morning Blitz.
Want to be a winner, be a winner.
Connor Schuh, winner number 1. What do you have today?
Ross, I've got a ton of winners this week.
Oh, good, because I don't have very many.
Hey, there we go. And on the local side, I'll start off with Colby Boys Wrestling. First place at the Salinas South Invitational. Talon Wark got first place in the 132 weight division. Ryder Demperwolf, first place in the 120 weight division. And plenty of other guys got second, third, fourth, fifth in their respective areas. And we got to talk about it a little bit a couple weeks ago with head coach Cole Garcia about how their season's been going, and clearly it's still going pretty great for them. I mean, that's one heck of a run they've been on, and that's another first place finish at a meet.
Great showing from them. I think Eric Schrader got career win number 100.
Yeah, that's right.
I saw that as well. So they had a great weekend overall there at Salinas South, at least when it came to the outcome. So a great showing from Colby High School Wrestling. They're really looking good there after a showing on Saturday against a lot of bigger schools too. Now I don't know what that means in the wrestling world. That could mean you're playing, you've got bigger schools, which means they have more to draw from. But I also think there's also more sports to do in the winter. So maybe you don't have as many to draw from.
Yeah, it just depends where the kids are going.
Exactly. So, but still, I would take nothing away from the great performance from Colby this past weekend on the road at Salinas South, picking up a first place finish there. And I tell you, I'm just going to piggyback off this real quick. Another shout out on the Colby side of things. Shout out to Cody Wright, as I like to call him, G.I. Joe. He's like a G.I. Joe looking guy out there. But Cody Wright was selected for the Kansas Shrine Bowl I saw yesterday. He got selected and made the list, did Cody Wright. So congratulations, Cody Wright, being selected to the Kansas Shrine Bowl All-Star Game coming up here on June 27th at Emporia. So congratulations to Cody Wright. So
That's an awesome opportunity.
For Colby's own Cody Wright. Picking up a nice little selection there from the Kansas Shrine Bowl. So, so that was a really nice weekend there for Colby. But you kind of stole one of my winners. I was going to have a little shout out to Colby, Colby athletes. So, man, you're just cutting me at the knees here. No, it's fine. No, it was a good weekend there for Colby Eagle Wrestling for sure. My first winner of the weekend, and I'm going to I had it one way. I'm going to change a little bit because I read something this morning, so it made me think a little bit differently. But I'm going to give a shout out to the NFC West. The NFC West are winners of the weekend. That would be, of course, the Seattle Seahawks, who have yet to play in a playoff football game. They're waiting. They will wait and play this upcoming weekend. But their fellow teams of their division, the Rams, pull one out late against the Panthers. Should have probably been a little bit more of a lopsided win, but it wasn't. But nonetheless, they get it done when it's all said and done to the Rams on the road there on Saturday afternoon against the Panthers. What was it 34-31 was the final score?
Yep.
Matt Stafford threw for 304. And then you also want to throw into the NFC West the San Francisco 49ers, who had a phenomenal showing on the road in Philadelphia, 23-19. Brock Purdy just doing enough, 262. Demarcus Robinson, the former Chief, with his best game as a 49er, over 100 yards receiving in the win last night out there at Philly at the Link. And Christian McCaffrey had 2 receiving touchdowns, one from Jawan Jennings on a little kind of semi-Philly special play, kind of. But I'm telling you, it was a great win for the 49ers, who are so banged up. Remember, folks, they're playing without Fred Warner, kind of the heart and soul of their defense, who's been out with some ankle injury. There's a talk that he might be able to make it back later on in the playoffs if they're still playing. And then, of course, last night, and then we all saw it if you were watching the game, George Kittle's done. Blew his Achilles, which I don't know what's going on. And my wife said the same exact thing. We've talked about this for a while, her and I. What is going on with Achilles injuries? Why are there so many of them? There used to not be that many Achilles injuries, and now there are a ton of them across all sports.
I think you hear that discussion a lot, and I feel like a quick, easy answer would be just that kids are playing sports earlier in life now. You see a lot more kids playing Pee-wee, and they're playing more sports, so just more stress on the Achilles tendon over time. I feel like that's kind of doing it, but I don't know if you heard this about George Kittle. I saw something that apparently they found like tequila, like an empty tequila bottle in the locker room, and apparently they might have given it to him. I don't know if that was confirmed or not, but that's one way to.
If George didn't have tequila in his duffel bag somewhere, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, he seems like he might be the type of guy, but yeah, there's always different ways to cure the pain, I guess.
Yeah, and so I did read that report that he was possibly drinking tequila in the locker room after he had his Achilles ruptured. But I think probably the biggest thing for me is that the human body, they're putting so much work in getting stronger, getting more physically dominant as a human body. I just don't know if some parts of the body can handle that. That would be part of my thought. Like you're just getting so big and strong that sometimes part of your body can't handle all that weight and stuff and force. And I've kind of wondered about that sometimes, I guess. Here's the play on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream, the throw to McCaffrey from Jawan Jennings. Great catch, by the way.
That's a good ball, too.
Great ball. Well, Jawan Jennings, by the way, was a 4-star recruit quarterback that went committed to Tennessee and then switched to wide receiver.
That explains it.
Yeah, great throw.
In the run, too. I mean,
yeah. Beautiful.
Impressive.
And then, the Eagles would actually go down and score after this play here, and then the Niners have to come back and score again. They found McCaffrey on a chance route. And this is actually it right here. Woo! Look at that. Beautifully done on a little Texas route, I think, as they call that. Nonetheless, it's a great win for the 49ers, and it's also a tip of the cap to them. The last time that I remember them playing in that stadium was the 2022 NFC Championship game. And how can we forget that? Where I remember sitting thinking, God, I can't wait to see this game. It's going to be awesome. These two teams are awesome. It's going to be great. So much fun. And the 49ers go out there and Brock Purdy gets out and tears up his shoulder. And then I think it's Josh Johnson, who, of course, who's the ultimate journeyman in the NFL.
Backup legend.
Yeah, he gets a concussion, and they only had two quarterbacks, and so they had to throw Purdy back out. They might just hand the ball off to McCaffrey and just, say, throw up the white flag. They were down by so much, but they couldn't throw. They had no one to throw the ball. And that was, and of course, that led to the rule change of, having to have three quarterbacks, the emergency third quarterback. That led to that, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, a great win for San Francisco. And a shout out to the NFC West to get it done, and it's to have three of their four. Now, the Cardinals, the only team, and they got a long way to go before they're in the playoffs or even sniff a playoff spot. But a shout out to the other three. They really flexed this weekend, and they're still alive going into weekend 2 of the NFL playoffs. So that's my only winner that I have now.
That's it?
That's it. Oh, my God.
Really? All right. Well, I got four more.
Throw them out. Here we go. What do you got?
All right. We'll start off with Wisconsin men's basketball. They did what I don't think any team felt like they could do at this point in the season, and that was go into Ann Arbor, into the Chrysler Center, and get a win over Michigan. And I don't think anyone thought if any team was going to go beat Michigan on their home turf, it was going to be Wisconsin. They've been pretty middling so far this year. Borderline tournament team, they're not that big of a threat. Michigan will handle them. It might be a little bit of a game, but Wisconsin handled business 91-88. Shout out to John Blackwell, 26 points for him. He's one of the more underrated guards in the Big Ten. A lot of fun to watch. Big body dude, not afraid to take contact. Him and the rest of the squad, they got it done, to say the least. And Nick Boyd as well, his fellow point guard, just a good game. He had 22, and those guys got it done against Michigan, which, again, I was very surprised by. I thought out of all the undefeateds, they might be the last one standing when it was all said and done. But no, Michigan, they seemed untouchable, but you could see the cracks were starting to show against Penn State earlier this week, and then it all kind of fell apart against Wisconsin.
I was looking at I was trying to think, was there a guy somewhere for Wisconsin who hadn't scored a lot this year, but had a huge performance? I was trying to look this up. But no, I don't know who it was, but it was impressive. I mean, 15 made threes from Wisconsin. Yep. That was the difference. 15 to 33. Michigan goes 8 to 25 from deep, and then Michigan, impressively, 92% from the foul line. Very, very good there. But when you make 15 threes in a ball game, it's hard to get beat. It's hard to get beat when you make,
especially in college ball.
And so Wisconsin getting that done. And I would agree with you 110%. Didn't think Michigan was going to lose for a while. They just looked so unbeatable, but you saw, as you said perfectly, chinks in the armor when they go to Penn State and barely win. And then they're at home against Wisconsin and get beat again. Get beat for the first time, I should say. But Michigan drops and is now no longer among the unbeatens. More winners, Connor Schuh.
How about the New England Patriots? It feels like Tom Brady is back and Bill Belichick is back. That was a very New England Patriots playoff win. Kind of a lower scoring game. Their defense just smothered the Chargers, and it felt like Phillip Rivers was on the other end. Like this was the late 2000s instead of today, but it was Drake May and company instead, and he had a good game, over 260 passing yards, and just did enough to succeed. And it's funny because even he said he didn't have a good game after. He's like, I could have done more, this and that. And it's like, the Patriots are back, whether you like it or not. I don't know if I love it because, the Patriots just reigned over the NFL for so long, and it feels like that dynasty is back with a great defense that looks like it's going to be pretty consistent with a guy like Mike Vrabel at the helm. And they just beat down on the Chargers 16-3, just kind of ground them into dust in that game. Herbert couldn't really get anything going, and the unfortunate narrative of him being a playoff choker will continue on after this year. He still doesn't have a playoff win, which is crazy, but this is more about the Patriots and their win, and now that really etches them as, I guess, legit for the people that really doubted them during the regular season, since they had a pretty easy schedule, granted, but that's that's a big win, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, they were great. I'm actually kind of curious what our great listener Michael thinks, watching them take care of the Chargers, because he was the man who said Herbert's going to wreck shop and that Chargers D is going to get some. That didn't happen. It was actually the opposite of that, Michael. So I would love to hear your thoughts on the FB Bank text line at 785-899-2222. I don't know if I was anybody, I'd be scared of the Patriots. I mean, there's the thing. They weren't great. They didn't do a great job. Neither team did in that game of finishing drives. I mean, they would get down the field, but no one could ever put it in the end zone. They were kicking a lot of field goals. And that's something that the Patriots got to get figured out. Credit to the defenses on that. But Drake May's mobility, and same for Herbert. I mean, that was a big part of the game, was the quarterback's ability to pick up some scramble yards in that game. But yeah, the Patriots, they look really, really good. I shouldn't say really, really good. They look really good. They look like a good team. They got to get some things ironed out when they get into the red zone. But that's a team to be reckoned with here next week, and it's going to be interesting to see how. I think we're looking at possibly a Broncos-Patriots matchup here, coming up. We'll see. I don't know. Bills got it done against the Jags. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe Josh Allen is able to get the win on the road in Denver. We'll see. Yeah. And your final winner of the weekend, real quickly?
I've got two more, but I'll rip through them in the interest of time.
So many winners.
I've got IU football. I mean, they just smeared Oregon into dust. That was just disgusting. I expected that to be a little bit more of a game, but clearly Indiana and Kurt Cignetti and Fernando Mendoza had other ideas. 56-22 was the final, and that score even feels closer than the actual game was. Fernando Mendoza he threw more touchdowns than incompletions. 17 for 20, 5 touchdowns. And yeah, just a dominant game. They rushed for 185 yards, and Oregon looked like a JV team against them. So, I mean, you've already heard enough about that in the past week if you're following college football in any way. So I'll give you a curveball that you probably haven't heard anything about. Ohio State wrestling. They won 45-0 at an invitational or a duel against Indiana this weekend. They beat them 45-0 and moved to 12-0 on the year. Nick Feldman, their heavyweight, probably one of their best wrestlers, pinned Caleb Marcelino in 43 seconds to win in the most dominant bout of that match. And again, they're just dominant this year. Shout out to Ohio State Wrestling, one of the best programs in the nation.
I'm going to give a shout out. As we transition to losers, can I just piggyback off of one of those there? I want to piggyback off of the Indiana game there a little bit. So, we were talking about, how dominant Indiana was. A loser to me is Oregon. I think they're even a bigger loser than they are. Indiana is a winner. I think if there's one thing that we have learned about watching Indiana football is that you cannot make mistakes. You cannot make mistakes. And what did you do if you're Oregon? The very first play, a pick six. You cannot do this. And there were so many mistakes that Oregon made throughout the first half that the game was over at halftime.
They gave them a lot of short fields.
It was done. And if you're Oregon, you can't do that. If there's one thing you cannot do against Indiana, it is shoot yourself in the foot. And Oregon did it so much. So much. And that's why I think they're a bigger loser of the weekend than Indiana is a winner. Indiana just took advantage of Oregon being dumb and doing dumb stuff. Look at that dumb play on the video stream. What are we doing? If I was an Oregon fan, I would have lost my mind. What in the world are you doing? Pick six and then deep in your own territory and you lose the ball on trying to throw it out in the flat and it's picked up by Indiana who gets a score the next play. Dumb. You cannot make mistakes, and Oregon made tons of them. And that's why I think they're a humongous loser of the weekend is Oregon football. So bad. Jared agrees with me. He says Oregon's a humongous loser. He says the O on the Oregon helmet stands for 0 national titles.
Yes, that's what everyone says, and it'll stay that way maybe for a while.
Brian's big on the Hoosiers, he says this morning. And real quickly, since we're on the FNB Bank text line, Jared H. believes that playing surfaces have a lot to do with the Achilles injuries at this point in time. I don't know, Jared. In some ways, yes. In other ways, I don't know. I feel like the playing surfaces in some where these are happening, or some are bad and some are good. It just depends on what you're looking at. So, and one more quick shout out. Thanks from Steven Binkelman, our good friend, my fellow Husker. He goes, Husker Nation appreciates Ross's sacrifice to help the Husker men remain unbeaten. That's right. That's my sacrifice. Picks of the weekend. I predict a Husker loss so they can get the win. I'm all for that.
I'm here to take the wins.
Yes, and Connor's there to take the dubs. All right, what else for losers this weekend, Mr. Schuh?
For losers, I have Arkansas basketball, because I have another one after this that I think you'll have, so I'll let you have that one. But Arkansas hoops, top 15-ish team in the nation, and they get absolutely blown out by an Auburn team that is not like the Auburn with Bruce Pearl. They have Stephen Pearl, his son, at the helm, and he has not done a great job to this point, and he manufactured quite the win over Arkansas on Saturday by over 20 points. And Arkansas with John Calipari, there are higher expectations than that. They're supposed to be a pretty great team in the SEC this year. They have some great freshmen. Darius Acuff, he's supposed to be a star, and he has been a star. And I could list off a bunch of names, but I'm not going to in the interest of time. But just a disappointing game from the Razorbacks. They shot well, 38% from deep, 43% from the floor, but they just didn't guard. Auburn shot 57% from the floor, 45% from deep. And, well, it's not a winning formula if you're on the other end, and if you turn it over 11 times to only 9 assists. So Arkansas basketball, definitely a loser after that performance.
SEC basketball is down this year. It's not as good as it was last year, top to bottom. Vanderbilt's very good. Past that, not a lot of great teams in the SEC when it comes to basketball.
Even Alabama lost this weekend.
Yes, that's bad back-to-back losses for them.
Yeah.
Lost to Vanderbilt, I think, on Wednesday.
They did.
So it's down for that. My final loser of the weekend, I'm just going to throw Wheat State College basketball underneath the bus here right now. I mean, Kansas and Kansas State both losing on the road. Kansas falling there on the road at West Virginia in a ball game that they probably should have won. I guess I put that in question marks, but they lose 86-75. They led by 8 in the second half, but the Mountaineers closed on a 16-0 run. 16-0 run. And never looked back. Darren Peterson had 23 points to lead Kansas, but they shot 31% in the second half to the Jayhawks. That was not great there for Kansas on the road. Shout out to Harlan Obioa, former Hoxie native. He had double-digit points in that game. The big man running the floor right there on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream is Harlan Obioa. And but yeah, it was West Virginia gets it done. It's a tough place to play. It's going on the road in the Big 12 is hard to win anywhere, and whoever you face, it's hard. But Kansas had a chance to do it, and once again, it's just that drought in the second half that killed the Jayhawks this time. So they're the first loser. And then you got to throw K-State in there as well. They come up short in Tempe on Saturday night, 87-84, despite 25 points from P.J. Haggerty and 22 from Abdi Bashir. But they had a late scoring drought as well, and they go 0-3 to begin Big 12 play. Here's my stat. If, and I know this is a big if, but if Kansas were to have lost that game against TCU at home, which let's face it, they were there. I mean, they were down by 9 with less than a minute to play. TCU gave them that win at the Phog. If that doesn't come back and they don't win that game, Kansas and Kansas State are a combined 0-6 in Big 12 play. 0-6. And at the bottom of the league standings together.
Yikes.
I mean, this loss for Kansas at West Virginia, which I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a terrible loss. It's a hard place to win. But my point being is that I think we just continue to see the fall of Kansas basketball into mediocrity from where they've been in the past. We continue to see the fall into mediocrity.
Could miss the tournament.
Possibly.
Could.
I love how ESPN is promoting, Kansas, Iowa State coming up on Tuesday. Number 3 Iowa State against number 22 Kansas. They're not going to be ranked when they take on Iowa State.
And it's at Iowa State, right?
I think
it's in Ames,
Kansas. I'm not for sure. I think it's at Kansas. I could be wrong. I think it's at Kansas though.
If it's in Ames though, I mean that might be a bloodbath.
But anyway, we continue to see the fall from mediocrity, and then to wrap things up here real quickly, I have a video of Coach Tang with a comment. Listen to the comments of Coach
This team
Tang.
has great camaraderie. That's not an issue. The chemistry off the court is not an issue. It's the chemistry on the court. Like they don't always play like they really like each other, but you see them off the court and you'd be like, man, them dudes love each other, right? And so we need to like bring that on the floor. And one of the reasons, not that they don't like each other or that they feel like they can make the play rather than us making the play. And we got to get them switched to us, because when we play for us and we get assisted shots, we're really good.
Are you kidding me? Did you hear the first part of that? This is a team that has great chemistry off the floor, but poor chemistry on it.
That can happen. I mean, guys want to play for themselves, they'll play for themselves.
And this is the problem once again that Jerome Tang has had ever since that magical first year. Ever since that magical first year, he has not been able to find the guys that want to play together on the floor. He has not been able to find it. In fact, this was a fun stat put out I saw by Ema Caleb on Twitter. At January 17, 2023, after taking down number 2 Kansas, Jerome Tang stood on the scorer's table and talked to the students who had stormed the floor, saying, "You got one court storming. From now on, expect to win." Since then, 54-47 and 23-30 in the Big 12.
Didn't age well.
Did not age well at all for Jerome Tang. So he's K-State, we State basketball loser of the weekend for your boy. So anyway, anything else we're cooking?
KU is another one, but I was going to say Eagles real quick. They got some questions, but kind of addressed that in the Niners.
Yeah. They've got problems with the Eagles. We'll talk more on that with Nick Athen, our good friend from Cheese Splits. He'll join us next. We'll take our first break. Back with more here on a Monday of the Morning Blitz.
When you gotta go, but there's nowhere to go, who you gonna call? Topside Portables and Pumping, that's who. Weddings, job sites, farm parties, they've got clean, reliable porta potties that don't stink, literally. And if your septic tank smells worse than last year's chili cook-off, they'll pump it out fast. No mess, no fuss. Family owned, Heartland values, always ready. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. When duty calls, they answer.
This corn growing season, the pressure is on. We've got to work smarter, not harder. So turn to TrivaPro. As the hardest working, longest lasting corn fungicide, TrivaPro works overtime to protect plant health and your potential yield, even in fields with low disease pressure. When you need your inputs to go above and beyond, choose TrivaPro fungicide for disease control you can take to the bank. Ask your retailer for TrivaPro today. Always read and follow label instructions.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, Jared Ball with the Andersons in Overland Park, Kansas, with your morning market update. It's Monday, January 12th in the overnight session. March corn up 1 1/4 at 4.47. May up 1 1/4 at 4.55. July up a penny at 4.61 1/4. Beef up a penny at 4.65 even. Soybeans on the march up 5 1/4, 10.67 3/4. May at 5 1/4, 10.79 3/4. July at 4 1/2, 10.92 1/4. November at 4 3/4 at 10.76 1/2. KC wheat on the march up 8 3/4 at 5.39. May at 6 3/4 at 5.49 3/4. July up 6 1/2 at 5.63. Chicago wheat up 7 1/4 at 5.24 1/2. Feeder cattle finished last week 360.72 1/2. Live cattle 233.72 1/2. Lean hogs 85.30. Crude oil futures down 37 cents a barrel at 58.75. Gold futures up 129.70 an ounce, 4,620. And silver futures up $6 at 84.91. U.S. dollar index down 42 points at 98.47. Dow futures down 327 at 49,399. S&P futures down 36, 6,969. If you need to move into cash grain or want to talk about risk management, you can reach out to myself, Jared Law, Tom Sudo, or Tyler Gosh at 913-748-3000. If you're out in Colorado, you can reach out to John Hankey and John Stiles at 970-744-4484. And don't forget, today at 11, we got quarterly stocks as well as a supply and land update.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
If you're buying or selling cattle, make your first stop livestockmarket.com. Bred cows, heifers, pairs, bulls, and frozen genetics, even feeder calves. You'll find them all at livestockmarket.com. Livestock Market features private treaty sales, online auctions, and live production sale bidding. You'll also find horses, sheep, goats, and hay. Check out the free Livestock Market magazine wherever you pick up Tractor House and download the Livestock Market mobile app today.
Some corn and soybean fungicides out there talk a big game. But if you're paying premium prices for not-so-premium results, it's time to get your money's worth with Miravis Neo. With exclusive Adepidin technology, health-boosting benefits that keep crops cleaner and greener, and proven bushel bumps that out-yield the other guys, it's easy to see which fungicide gets you the most bang for your buck. Ask your retailer for Miravis Neo, the premium fungicide that performs. Always read and follow label instructions.
Miss the weekend action?
Yes, you caught me.
No worries. We've got all the highlights and lowlights covered.
Hey, okay, well, catch me up.
This is the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Our great listener, Jared L., chiming in, saying his loser of the weekend was K-State versus Houston women's basketball. It was a big old brawl happening in that game, so he says there was a loser there. And we'll actually get to that question from Jared H. coming up here in just a minute. Let's welcome into the program our good friend Nick Athen from ChiefsBlitz.com. Morning, amigo. How are we doing today?
Doing great. How about you guys?
We're doing fine. Quick question on Kansas basketball, my friend.
Yes.
Jared wants to know, Jared H. this is Self done at KU after this year?
No, he's got one of the best. He's got one of the best recruiting classes in history coming in next year. Stokes is going to commit to Kansas. They're going to be dynamite next year. He's not done. The problem is this team doesn't know how to play with Darren Peterson, and they don't go to the post enough, and it's just that simple. And they're going to be a 6 seed or a 5 seed probably in the NCAA tournament, and maybe they'll have a moment, but he's not done. I mean, it's not happening. Listen, I don't like the way he's coached his team this year. I don't like the way he's kind of held hostage by the other factors around Darren Peterson, but he's doing the best he can with what he's got. And again, when you have 5, 6, 7 transfers on your team and you recruit 3 freshmen and only one of them is decent, that's a problem.
You think there's any chance they don't make the tournament this year?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. I mean, at worst, they'll be an 8-9. They'll be an 8 seed or something like that, 9 seed. Listen, they're going to get their act together eventually. You know, usually it takes January when you got roster turnover every single year. It's very difficult to get any cohesiveness. And Bill Self needs guys who are in the program 1, 2, at least 2 years, 3 years to really develop into, a legit winner. He just hasn't made that jump, though. Like I said, his recruiting class next year is sick. That's going to be the best recruiting class in Kansas basketball history. Let's hope he can coach him. Because clearly they're spending the money.
Yeah, I'll tell you the one thing I've seen about Bill Self is that I think he was like, well, we're going to try this portal thing out and see how we do. And I think he's realized that I don't do this portal thing very well. I do better on bringing
all freshmen, a lot of freshmen.
Yeah, you see that. You kind of see his change back to how he was doing it prior to the portal time.
I agree.
Quick question for Connor here. I see here this morning that the Browns are interviewing Mike McDaniel. Are you happy about this interview, Mr. Brown?
We're not going to hire him. It's fine. It's just a formality. I hope we get John Harbaugh. I know he's Ravens guy, but come on,
Connor.
What?
Living in a dream.
John Harbaugh is not going to the Cleveland Browns.
What? All right. There's no team with a better defense already out of all these open head coaching spots than the Browns. Obviously, you have the Deshaun thing still kind of hanging over your head, but it's not a bad job. It's better than some of the other ones that are open. I mean, it's better than the Raiders' job. Like, come on.
Well, I don't disagree with you on that point. I just don't think the Browns organization has enough to lure a guy like John Harbaugh to come in and give up all that control. Just hear me out. He wants a new GM. He wants complete roster control. He wants the complete draft pick. He wants a bunch of money, and he wants a bunch of money for his assistants. So
that's the problem.
If you factor all that in with your owner, who is now demanding a new stadium, or they're going to move cross county or whatever. I mean, and they just got a new stadium, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever it is. Listen, the Browns are delusional. They were better off with Stefanski, even though I think he was in a tough situation. But they have never recovered from the Deshaun Watson thing. They will not recover from that. And this division, though I think this division is interesting, because I think you're going to see one, maybe two starting quarterbacks no longer with the same team. So it does change the dynamic of the
Aaron Rodgers, and then whoever you consider the Browns
starter.
I
think Joe Burrow's on the move.
Whoa. Okay.
I think Lamar Jackson's it could be on the move as well. I think Joe Burrow's going to end up in Las Vegas with the Raiders. That's my prediction. That's my
they're going to draft Mendoza. That's the thing.
My bold prediction, that's where he's going.
Interesting.
Tom Brady's not going to put a stake in a young quarterback that's going to take 3 or 4 years to develop in a dysfunctional organization. Just bring in the best quarterback, trade the number one pick. I mean, I'm all in. Joe Burrow to the Raiders.
He's going to get killed even more.
Blow my mind if that happens. That will blow my mind. Nick Athens, our guest on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream from Chiefs Blitz. What were your takeaways from our wild card weekend thus far? We still have one more to go tonight.
You know what? I enjoyed it. It's the first time I've got to relax.
I bet.
It's been 9 years, since the Chiefs haven't been in the playoffs, 10 years, whatever it is. And I didn't have any of that angst. I didn't really have a bone to give any of the dogs here. I just enjoyed the game, and I thought they were all terrific. I thought every game was close. Though the last night, the Chargers-Patriots game was really inevitable. The Patriots are going to win at some point. But all the other games were up in the air, and I loved it. I mean, you have close games. I mean, Carolina, give him props. They came in and they just said, we don't care that we've only won 8 games and lost 9. We're gonna give the Rams everything we got. And to the Rams' credit, all the stud quarterbacks came through in the end, and they all made the plays that they had to make. And so I loved every game of it. I predicted all the outcomes. I predicted would go that way. And I'll tell you what, if I'm the Denver Broncos, the last team I want to face is the Buffalo Bills in the opening round of the playoffs. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was entertaining, and I think the NFL got it right. And I thought the pace was great. The games were good. The officiating was mostly good. I don't think there's any really terrible calls that affected the outcome of the games. Hey, man, it was just fun to just sit back and watch.
More impressive NFC winner, the Bears over the Packers or the Niners on the road at Philly?
Oh, Bears over the Packers. Absolutely. Just because they hadn't done it really before. Now, they had a lot of comeback wins this year, obviously. But that comeback in the fourth quarter, I'm turning the game off in the third quarter because it's going to be a blowout. Then I turn it back on with like 2 minutes to go. I'm like, what? And of course, I had to rewind and watch how it all unfolded. But the Bears, to me, they're one of the most exciting teams in football, that they can play so poorly in a game and come back and play so great, late in the game. And, I go back to that, what was against San Francisco that they lost to at the end of the game. I can't remember. It was 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they didn't make the play. And they learned from that mistake, and they made the plays in the postseason. And kudos to the Chicago Bears fans. They've been through a lot, since Matt Nagy was the head coach and got him in the playoffs for the last time. I was impressed. I love their head coach. I love their quarterback, their defense, and shout out to Joe Thuney. He's the leader of that football team.
Anybody happen to see that handshake between him and LaFleur?
Oh, I was just waiting for a right hook.
Tell you what, who's going to get a little icy right there?
Absolutely.
I know the Eagles are not very good this year. I know they have not been able to find their footing, but I know something about San Francisco winning that game despite really kind of being, themselves injured and not really playing at full strength has really shown me a lot. I thought that game was just impressive, and it was a very entertaining game as well.
Yeah, that just tells you how bad the Eagles team is. I mean, they lose Kittle. Their offensive line was shaky at best. Their quarterback play was average. Their defense was gassed. They only rushed 4. They couldn't even get to Jalen Hurts. And I just marvel at the fact that how poorly coached the Eagles are. And nobody loves to watch Nick Sirianni lose more than I do. I'll be curious to see if they keep him as the head coach. I think they have their excuse now. Now, if I'm John Harbaugh and I'm looking for to make a statement, and the Eagles have been willing to spend a lot of money on their football team and make a lot of trades, that would be my dark horse spot for him.
Be a great landing spot for him. That's for sure.
It would be.
Nick, the game late last night, New England, Los Angeles, didn't have a lot of points. It seemed to move the ball up and down the field, but just couldn't find the end zone. What do you make of New England's 16-3 win over the Chargers? I think we all think that New England's a really dangerous football team, but at the same time, didn't exactly put up a lot of fireworks. They could have won that game over the Chargers a lot more convincing than they did.
I kind of attribute it to kind of like, okay, that was the first game. Let's get it out of the way. Let's just do what we need to do. They didn't play great. Next weekend I could see them putting up 20, 30 points. So I think it was like it was great that they were in this experience. I think they were nervous. I think they had some things they had to iron out offensively and defensively, and they never just got there. I mean, the defense carried the day, which is a Mike Vrabel trait. I thought they kind of held it together. I thought Drake May won this game with his legs versus his arm. And I think you combine all those things. Plus, let's be honest, the Chargers offense is woeful. Again, here we go. The conversation about Justin Herbert. Hey, he's this great regular season quarterback and he can't do crap in the playoffs. And that narrative is going to continue. And then John Harbaugh after the game blaming, the offensive coordinator. Maybe that's the problem. Injuries, their medical staff is bad. Herbert's just not that guy in January. The defense did their best, I think, to force all those field goals until that one touchdown drive. And that was a beautiful pass by May. That was one of the best passes in the postseason. But Chargers, this is who they are. And I love Jim Harbaugh. I want him to be the Chiefs coach. I would put him up there in the next couple of years coming to Kansas City if Andy retires, but that's not going to happen. But I just think he's got a lot of roster problems and a lot of injury problems. And when you bring all your buddies in on the coaching staff, as we've seen in Kansas City the last couple of years, it makes it very difficult to have different kind of success than you've had in the past.
I'll let you go on this one. Looking ahead to this upcoming weekend in what is the official, divisional round.
Right.
What is it? Buffalo, Denver, the most exciting game on the docket, or is there another one that really catches your eye more than that?
I think the Bills are the team to beat for the Super Bowl right now. I really do. It's hard for me as a Chiefs fan, but I mean, I watched that. Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be the next guy, and of course, what did he do? Did what he usually does. He turns the ball over in big games. I think the Bills at Broncos it's the biggest game of this round, I think. I think Buffalo, you saw yesterday, Josh Allen understands that he's going to have to carry this team. And he did. And he made the plays. He made all the plays that needed to be made in the fourth quarter. And the Jaguars, gave a valiant effort. But, they're the team to beat. The Broncos, this is the worst matchup they could possibly have for their first game in the postseason. Any other team but Buffalo, I would have given the Broncos a really good chance. Now, I'm not saying the Broncos can't win, and I'm not saying that, the Bills defense is that good, but I don't think there's a team that can beat Josh Allen right now in the playoffs if he's playing the way he is and he's carrying this team. Again, no Mahomes, no Burrow, no Jackson. A very beatable AFC side of the playoff, a ledger. Every team can be beaten, and Josh Allen has beaten, these teams, and if he doesn't win, if he doesn't get to the Super Bowl this year, it's never going to happen in his career. This is it. So I think it's the best game. The Bears game should be fun as well, just because I really like, what I saw the other night. But to me, if I'm a Broncos fan, and I know you got a lot of Broncos listeners, I still like your team. I just don't think they can beat Buffalo.
I like the team, but I don't like.
I mean, it's a 1.5.
Yeah,
It's close.
And Buffalo's favored on the road.
Right, it's a 1.5 with Buffalo favored, and that should scare the crap out of Broncos fans because it's probably going to be 3 at kickoff.
Anyway, but there you go. Nick Athen, our good friend from ChiefsBlitz.com. Nick, it's always great, my friend. Have a wonderful week. We'll catch up with you next one.
I will see you next Monday.
Once again, great stuff there from Nick Athen, our friend from ChiefsBlitz.com. We'll take our final break, come back, and wrap up the show with our leftovers next. This is The Blitz.
As the seasons change in St. Francis, make sure your coverage doesn't fall behind. From harvest time to holiday lights, Fruin Insurance keeps you protected all year long. Fruin Insurance, your hometown team for peace of mind.
Listen to the 790 KXXX Auction Block each Wednesday morning, 8:05 a.m. Central Time for the latest from the Oakley Livestock Commission Company, Oakley, Kansas. Paul Dwyer, owner, will have the latest sales for you. Call Paul, 719-342-0791.
Kick off 2026 ready for whatever winter brings. At Hoover Lumber, Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, they've got the gear to start the new year strong. Get organized with rugged storage totes. And when the snow starts falling, if it does, power through it with Ego and Craftsman snow blowers. Or if it's just the light stuff, blow it away with Ego leaf blowers. And don't forget ice melt to keep your sidewalk safe all season long. New year, winter ready. Hoover Lumber, Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Helpful folks, trusted brands, and everything you need to get it done.
Chris Fullwider, respiratory therapist here from Goodland Regional Medical Center. When it comes to your health, the choice is yours. Make the choice that puts your well-being first. Choose Goodland Regional Medical Center because your health is worth it.
The holiday season just got brighter at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Wrap up the year with 0% for 36 months on all 2026 Chevrolet Trailblazer and Equinox models. Or slide into a new GMC, 1.9% for 36 months on a 26 Arcadia, plus up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation with Turbo Max with eligible trade-in. Big savings, big style, and big holiday cheer. Only at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Stop in today or visit online at hurlchev.com.
From the locker room to your morning commute, it's all sports, all the time.
That's what I'm talking about. Sport!
On the Morning Blitz.
So I said starting today and going through the next couple of weeks, we'll be giving a chance away to win this pair of tickets right here to Traditions Restaurant, Valentine's Day night, I should say, dinner and dance. It's going to be happening, of course, Valentine's Day Saturday, dinner at 7, dance at 8:30 with the group Strings Attached. So you want to reserve your table, or you could just get tickets right now. But if you text, what should be the word, Connor? We need a word to text in.
Steak.
Steak. You need to text the word steak to 785-899-2222. That enters you in a chance to win these tickets, and then we will draw them out when we get at the end of the month here. So text the word steak to 785-899-2222. If you text the word steak, no matter who's the first or last, text in the word steak today, and you'll be entered in for a chance to win these 2 tickets, Valentine's night, I should say, at Traditions Restaurant in Goodland. So text the
Brian
word.
already throwing his hat in the ring.
Thank you, Brian. We appreciate that. Once again, text the word steak. We want to make sure that we get these tickets off, and make sure you go support Traditions Restaurant. They're trying to bring some great events into town, and go support them as they do that. In the leftovers, what did we miss? Anything big for you that we missed from the show today?
Well, I guess we didn't talk too much about the Nebraska basketball game.
You know what? I'm just, we'll just put it this way. Nebraska was down 16 at one point in time, came all the way back and beat Indiana convincingly on the road at the legendary Assembly Hall. Great performance from Jamarcus Lawrence. But Nebraska basketball 16-0 winners of 20 in a row dating back to last year.
Whew.
Could be ranked could have a single digit next to their name after the new rankings today. Could have. We'll see.
The crown winners, Nebraska.
It's the springboard for a great season, apparently.
Yeah, not this year. Won't be in the crown this year.
I'll tell you, it's been an amazing run for the Big Red. And here's the thing. I'm not trying to get the cart in front of the horse, but if you look at the next 4 games, you've got like Oregon, Northwestern, Minnesota's in there, which is scary. And then there's another team in there that's just kind of average.
It's Washington between Northwestern and Minnesota.
Yeah, those are the 4 games before Michigan on the road on January 27th. I mean, there is a chance, and I'm not saying that's going to happen because every game in the Big Ten is hard, but there's a chance they could be 20-0 going to take on Michigan.
It's very possible.
At the Chrysler Center.
I hope they are.
I hope it is, because that will be an absolute bananas atmosphere. Bananas.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll pack that out.
Yeah, be great. Real quick, before we get to the walk-off, you did watch and called some Tech and Colby Community College basketball on Saturday. Give us your quick thoughts on the men's and women's game. Women by the winning. Colby women winning, by the way, 63-38. Men, Fort Hays Tech Northwest men coming back to win 80-73.
Women's game, it felt like Colby got a nice lead, and not a massive one, but just enough to kind of keep Tech out of the picture early on, late in the first
arm,
quarter.
as I like to say. Kept
basically,
stiff arm, an arm's length away.
And then it was just like the Cloud County game. They got into foul trouble pretty early, and that kind of hamstrung them for the rest of the game, it felt like, and they were never really able to come back, and Colby just slowly built that lead more and more throughout the game until they won by, what was that? That was 25 points, 63-38. And on the other end, it felt like the Colby men's team was doing the same exact thing. They were up by, I think, 9 at half, and they got up to 14 in the second. But man, Fort Hays Tech, it felt like they just flipped a switch defensively with around 10 minutes to go, and they just totally shut off the water of Colby and were able to, come back and get a pretty convincing win by 7. They really flipped the script in that second half, and it felt like Colby didn't really have much of an answer. Their guys just weren't really hitting shots, and Tech was all over it. Alou Diallo was the only guy who was really pouring it in. I think he had 19, and it felt like he was single-handedly keeping them in the game pretty late. He had a good performance.
You think he had 19? I think is what it was. I could be wrong.
19 or 20. I'm pulling it up now.
I think the stat that blows my mind is that the Trojans are 4-12 this season. I think that blows my mind.
I think they're better than that
overall record, and that just it seems like they should have a better record than the 4-12 they've shown at this point in time. So
I would agree.
Anyway, Tech basketball for you. On to the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball deep to right. How about a walk-off three? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
You know, I wanted to find out more about Tech, about Colorado basketball and what we were going to see from them. They only lost by 2 to Texas Tech at home, 73-71. So Tad Boyle, despite a loss, had a great showing there against the Red Raiders. Tonight, we've got a little NFL action, of course, to wrap up the wild card round. Texans and Steelers. Have your thoughts changed since the picks of the weekend on tonight's game?
No, I don't think so. I still like the Texans in this one. It feels like the Steelers just kind of squeaked their way into the playoffs, and they're probably the weakest link in terms of any team. So I think the Texans are not going to blow them out, I don't think, but they're going to have their way.
There you go. So we will see tonight if it is going to be Texans or Steelers advancing to face New England. That is who they will play on Sunday. So we'll check it out on Monday Night Football. For Connor Schuh, I'm Ross Volkmer. Thanks for listening. As always, we're back tomorrow here on the Morning Blitz. Have a good one.